Welcome to the first edition of Thrones Talk. I'm Kevin Panetta. You can follow me on Twitter at Panetta Sexy Time.
Welcome all to the wonderful journey of Westeros. This is the Commodore, at the Commodore on Twitter.
I'm Pat DeSandro. How you doing? I brought the beers. Cheers.
Jindan.
It's dead may never die.
We're going to talk about the season 7 premiere of Game of Thrones, which starts this Sunday on HBO. We're gonna do our predictions. We're gonna start at the north and work our way down. We're gonna do predictions on who dies, have some random discussions, see what happens. This could go anywhere. This little discussion right here.
So we're starting with the north.
All right. So what do you think is gonna happen with the north, Jake? You can go first.
Alright, so I guess we'll start with Jon Snow. So basically, Jon Snow, he has his eye on the real picture. He's focusing on the White Walkers when everybody else isn't really too interested.
At least some people believe him now about the White Walkers.
A little bit, yeah.
There's a real threat. He's the only one focused on that. Everyone else is all busy with this Game of Thrones.
Davos is also interested in that.
Hold on.
Cheers to the King of the North!
To the King of the North! King of the North!
King of the North!
Yeah, everyone's selling this season like it's going to be. They got Cersei, they got Daenerys, they got Jon Snow. You got the two queens and the king, and they think they're all going to get caught up in this big clusterfuck thing. I don't think Jon Snow is going to be intertwined with their story a whole lot. I think maybe next season we're going to see a bit of that, but I think most of this season, yeah, we're going to see plenty of, Daenerys is coming in, she's going to fight Cersei, and you got a whole battle going on there. But up in the north, I think Jon Snow's. He's got the wildlings, he's got the northerners. They know the White Walkers are coming. They're prepping for the knights. What do they call them? The Night King.
The White Walkers.
White Walkers. Yeah.
They're prepping for them.
The army of the dead.
And so he's going to be doing whatever he can to take care of that, to prep for that, to hold them off. Maybe reinforce. Maybe go back to the wall and help them out a bit. But that's his focus. I don't think he's going to get too involved with all the politics happening everywhere else.
We all agree Jon Snow is going to make it through this season, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Do we all agree Sansa is going to make it through this season?
I think so. And there's a good question. We're talking about the north. Sansa, and not to mention Littlefinger.
Here's one thing to keep
in the north.
Here's one thing to keep in mind, folks. Beric Dondarrion is actually dead in the books, but he's still alive in the show. Why?
Let's not stress too much on the books.
But it's still something very key to keep in mind.
Because there's no Lady Stoneheart in the show.
What do we think?
Yeah.
What do we think's going to happen with Littlefinger and Sansa? Are they going to be an item? Is Littlefinger going to grow onto Sansa?
Littlefinger's going to manipulate Sansa as usual. He's going to manipulate Sansa, and we're going to see how that plays out. Is she going to take her family, or is she going to take the guy who she trusts the most? Honestly, is Littlefinger.
Do you think she's going to take the Littlefinger?
I wouldn't mind seeing that. I mean, I think it'd be cool.
I don't care what you mind. Do you think it's going to happen?
Yeah, what you want versus
No, she's too innocent. Even though Ramsay kind of ruined that.
Is she going to double cross Jon Snow because of Littlefinger?
Kind of, but I think she's going to pull herself back and like, wait a minute, what the fuck am I doing? And then maybe I think Arya's going to be in Winterfell, but not till like the 4th episode. And then she'll be like, man, this dude, he double-crossed my father. Sansa, do you know that he like double-crossed Dad?
Is he on her list?
What?
Is he on her list? I don't even know if she knows.
No, I don't think she is.
She might find out.
I didn't hear it in the show.
This season,
Can I get my Arya prediction real quick?
Go for it.
I predict Arya dies by the hand of a Stark while she's wearing someone else's face. They think it's going to be someone else, and it might be Jon Snow or Sansa. They murder her.
That would be pretty awesome. I don't want that to happen, but that would be pretty awesome.
That's my prediction. I don't know if it's going to be this season or the last season, but I believe it's going to happen.
It'd be most poetic if it was Jon Snow. They always had their really close.
Yeah, they both were the outcasts.
They were the two ones that seemed like they were the two Stark children that seemed like Starks. So they were never as close to their mother.
The King of the North.
To the King of the North.
But see, this is my opinion about Jon Snow. I feel as though he's more of like a heroic Targaryen, like Rhaegar. Only he has a Stark aspect in.
He is a Targaryen.
He is a Targaryen.
He is Targaryen, but I think it's good that he
I
is
think
still
he's a little-
very much a Stark, even when he didn't think he was a Stark exactly. He really is a lot of both of his parents, even though he doesn't know who one of them
He is fire and ice, but I feel like he is more fire than ice.
I see that a bit.
Jon Snow and dragons will be awesome. Super
That'll be
awesome.
cool, but I don't think that's coming till the last season.
Do you think-
Or maybe it'll be something that happens at the very, very end, as him and Daenerys meeting up. But I think this whole season's going to be mostly wrapping up stuff within the Seven Kingdoms. And I'm thinking, like, the very end of the season is going to be the White Walkers breaking past the wall. And, okay, the long winter is here. Here's the frickin' Night King. Here's, the lands are in
Wait,
danger.
we're still on season 7.
Okay, yeah. But
I think the Night King's got to take out some of Daenerys' army, or else it's like it's the shit show that Daenerys wants. It's too big. I think it's going to start off
his
with
army
like
is pretty damn big. I mean, that's the thing. Right now, he's got the advantage. She's got dragons, which is a big deal. We don't know we don't know how well they do in the winter, or how well they do in the snow in general. Winter or not, where the Night King goes, it gets frickin' cold.
Daenerys doesn't even really know about the White Walkers. She knows bits and pieces, but not too much. She's going to use a lot of her army against Sansa. I mean, not Sansa, Daenerys.
Cersei.
She's going to use it against Cersei. Okay.
I'll be honest, I don't even want Daenerys to make it through it. I don't like her.
Yeah, I heard that prediction of yours.
Yeah, I don't like her. That's not prediction.
I can't see
what
that.
I want.
Well, yeah, I
don't
can't see that.
Obviously, she's gonna last the whole show.
I can't see that happening, but man, that would be an awesome twist if she, of all people, ends up dying.
I loved her in season 1. I hated her ever since, except when she killed all the Khals. That was cool.
Season 1, she was awesome. Season 2 was her worst season. Season 3, she was awesome. Season 4, she was pretty good. Season 5, she was okay. Season 6, she got better.
I just thought she was boring and predictable. All of her stories are predictable.
It's like she's like the John Cena of Game of Thrones.
You can't see her.
You
I
can't
still
see
think
her.
she's pretty badass, but I think it just became very clear that same with Jon Snow. Everyone else is huge fans of Jon Snow. I like him, but everyone else is clearly a bigger fan than I am, and I think it's just sort of because the two of them, fan favorites. How many freaking parents named their kids Khaleesi or Daenerys in like a 3-year span or something? It's huge.
Who is your favorite character, and who was before that? If that person died,
It's
did you have one previously?
really hard for me to pick a favorite between Tyrion and Arya. I know there are a lot of people's fan favorites, but my God, both of those make the show for me.
Oh, they're still alive.
Yeah.
Yours, Jake.
Well, I think I would have to go with my favorite antagonist or protagonist. I can't say because I love all the characters. I would say my favorite antagonist is Peter Baelish, Littlefinger. He is because I really like Aidan Gillen as an actor. I think he was really good in The Wire, but he's so great. I just love he had a different accent in season 1 and a different one in every other season.
I actually think you would have a girlfriend if you had his creepy uncle mustache.
I did before.
Just grow it back, man.
Yeah, I look like John Wayne Gacy.
Alright, sorry, we're still talking about the North.
He didn't finish his other
go on.
Okay.
protagonist.
Protagonist? Is Jaime Lannister a protagonist?
Eye of the Beholder. I mean, that's a weird thing about this show is everyone's a hero of their own story. I mean, some people are just flat out evil bitches like Cersei or Joffrey, or there's some flat out bad guys.
But I mean, I feel like Jaime's good outweighs his bad.
Yeah,
Definitely.
When I get to my prediction about Cersei and Jaime, then I'll delve more into
I say
that.
Jaime
listen,
is more a good guy than a bad guy.
I'll say this: I don't think he's the Valonqar. I think Jaime loves Cersei more than anybody in the show loves anything else.
I get that, but we'll get to that when we talk about Cersei.
Euron Greyjoy will be the Valonqar.
I don't see that.
My favorite character was Robb Stark, and then when he died, it was Jon Snow. I like Khal Drogo early on too. I guess I'm kind of more the pop culture-y.
Aquaman!
Yeah, Aquaman.
But does dead man never die? I guess.
I'm the god of tits and beer. Or wine and... What is
Tits
it?
and wine.
Tits and wine.
I am the god of tits and wine.
Alright, but we're still talking about the North. And a big subject is, as we mentioned earlier, Sansa and Littlefinger. Now, I got my predictions, I got what I think would be neat twists. To start with, what I want to happen is kind of what I think is going to happen, but I don't know what's going to happen.
Full penetration?
At full penetration. Everyone's making all these predictions that Peter is going to be the downfall of Sansa and everything going on in the North. as soon as he pushed out Aunt Lysa, what was it? Who went out the moon door?
Liza Aaron.
Yeah, Caitlyn's sister. As soon as he pushed
Catelyn.
yeah. As soon as he pushed Catelyn out the moon door, and you found out his whole plan that he was the one that sent the letter to the stars, that he was the one who killed the Hand of the King, way back at the beginning when everything started, you found out that, in a way, he's the biggest bad guy of the show. He went from being this, okay, he's a clever guy, he goes toe-to-toe with Varys, and they got all their little schemes and stuff, and yeah, he was good at that.
He's the ultimate politician.
We saw bits of it, but with that scene, he suddenly went into, holy shit, this huge realization that he started this entire freaking shitstorm that's happening. He started everything. That makes him kind of the biggest bad guy on the show and the most dangerous character there is, even more than these other much bigger characters.
Do you think he has as much insight as Varys does about everything?
Potentially, on different levels. But
Potentially.
Point is, a lot of people think that because he's the most dangerous character like that he's going to be the downfall of, if not the downfall of Sansa, then that he's going to convince Sansa to turn on her brother. He's going to use her to become the big bad guy in the north. I don't quite think so. There's that big line at the end of the last season where Jon asks Sansa about, do you think you can trust Peter Baelish? And she says, only a fool would trust Littlefinger. And then a little later, you see them have a nice moment and they kiss, and everyone thinks that's, oh no, she's actually still loyal to him. I think it's just that by spending time with Peter, she's finally learned how to play the game. At least a bit. And it's going to take someone betraying Littlefinger to bring Littlefinger down.
Sansa
he's never had anyone in a position to betray him, because he's always done his own thing and never had anyone too close to him.
The closest person to him was Roz. I miss her.
Yeah. And even that she wasn't that close to him. She just worked for him.
Yeah. That was like the most he talked to someone realistically.
Right. But those were just little scenes. It wasn't that she was close to him.
True.
This is the first time someone's potentially close to him. So her betrayal of Littlefinger could cause his downfall. That's what I want to happen. That's kind of what I think is going to happen. Another possibility, and this sort of weirdly chills me just thinking about it, but it's a big possibility, is, this whole time he's been making it out like one of his big goals is he wants Sansa. He always wanted Catelyn. Catelyn. Okay.
I hated Catelyn. I'm glad she died. I'm glad she didn't come back as Lady Stoneheart.
I always pronounce it Caitlyn.
One of my least favorite characters.
I hate her.
He always liked Catelyn. She was his one true love, blah, 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 all that crap. And now she's dead, and so now he's got his eyes on her daughter, who I guess kind of probably looked a bit like she did back when she was young.
Definitely hotter.
And he's finally seems like he's got her on the leash, and everything's kind of going his way. And he's really good at this whole Game of Thrones thing. Every time he makes a move, he ends up higher than he was before. And while I think she's going to be his downfall, it could be that he doesn't have any real love or loyalty for her, the same way he's got no love or loyalty for anyone.
So you think he could potentially be playing her to get the position he wants?
I think she...
I don't think that. I was going to ask you guys that
know.
actually too. I'm surprised you're on the same wavelength.
I think he might know that she might betray him, and she's going to one-up it and have a plan for that. My actual prediction is that she's going to turn on him, and that's going to be his big downfall. Whether that happens this season or next season, that's where I think it's going. That he tipped his cards. For a while, we had no idea what he was up to, and the big reveal of everything he had done made him seem more dangerous. But now that hand's tipped, at least to the viewers, us. And so with that out of the way, I really think he's not as dangerous as he was back at the beginning when we had no clue what he was doing, and I think his end's coming pretty soon.
To porn mustaches.
The porn mustaches.
In a world where love overcomes strength and duty, you could have been my child.
Let the priests argue over good and
Brothers are brothers, my days here are done. The Dornishman's taken my life. But what does it matter, for all men must die. And I tasted the Dornishman's wife.